like much blacker. So the modulating with the airbrush is very small pieces of real estate. But I want you to be able to see it while we paint it. Corvidai, don't drink and drive. Here's money for beer, because guys, it's too expensive. Let me get some strong man love in the chat from my boy Corvidai. 23 bonus, yo dogs. Thank you so much. Let's get some hyphies in chat for my dude right there, exclamation point hyphy. Disco, Outrider, nice. Primaris Chaplain on bank, baby. Come on. I got my box from Monument Hobbies in the mail. We use transparent black and coal black. We use a little sky blue, some white. That's how we did all these edge highlights. We messed, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run into some details on this guy now, and I haven't decided yet how we're gonna do them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to track down my box, my Primaris Chaplain box. I hope I didn't throw it away, because I want to just kind of look at the artwork. I know. Come on, man. Oh, here we go. All right, got a piece of paper here. All right, so there's a little picture of him right here, and so a lot of black. They kept his chest black. They used true metallics because, you know, GW obviously. So just trying to figure, just kind of like looking at this, trying to figure out what I want to do. Now we've done a lot of non-metallic workups in the last couple of sessions. So, do we keep that trend, or do we go with more of a classic workup here? And I'm looking at, and I was just trying to kind of figure out the face and like the kind of like rib cage armor. You know, I kind of wanted to paint that bone. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to keep it black like they did. Got some obvious places that they use metal. Double D's minis, back-to-back ads. Nice. Sorry about that. Subscribers in Twitch or in Amazon Prime subs, ad-free. Dr. Rhino in chat. What's up, man? Kev, yeah, I like the, yeah, I'll go bone. But what do we want to do with? Do we want to do non-metal metallic, or do we want to do true metal? What do you guys think? I'm looking too. There's not really that much metal, so it's not like a huge grind. Kev, what's the rest of the army? I'm not gonna. I mean, I gave him a Pop Goes the Monkey Blood Angel icon, so we'll paint that red and everything. So these Blood Angels, but I'm not gonna use them. It just doesn't fit into my Blood Angel style. War Pigment says true. I mean, we haven't done True Metallic in a little bit, right? So like, I'm kind of leaning toward True Metallic. You know, it's been a while. So let's just carve in some of the True Metallics just to get that out of the way. Put some water on my wet palette. Yeah, we've done a lot of NMM recently. Too much water in the wet palette. I'm gonna pour some excess out into the hobo sink. I'll lock into the obesity cradle. Let me grab a few metals. Let's just have some shit laying around here. Let's see here. So I really like bronze for gold. It's a good base coat right there for the golds. And I'll just go up to this is bright golds right here. So I'll just kind of use a combination of these. The gold stuff. And here's dark silver. I think I'm probably like straight up out of silver. I may have some in my new box. Let me look. Yo, this'll work. Metallic mixing medium for Monument Hobbies is basically just metallic white. Okay? So if you really just think about it, that's just dark gray right here with glitter, and this is white with glitter. Okay? That's like brown with glitter and like ochre with glitter. Impending Duff in the chat. What's up, man? It's my boy Impending Duff, just chilling. And so just real simple. You know, I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. Okay, now with the metallics, you want to maximize the glitteriness, or there's no real point in using it. So I see that. So probably what I'll do is paint. Let me put some water in this brush. I'll paint this big exhaust housing. So what I'll do is I'll just apply the dark silver first, everywhere that I think it needs to be. So like obviously there's some pipes right here, so we'll go on hot and heavy. Pretty high opacity. I've got enough moisture in the mix to spread it out, but I'm not trying to thin the paint out too much. What I want is really good coverage. And if you move quick utilizing the heart pull strategy and you see the paint kind of pulling up and getting thick, just spread it out. Utilizing light brush pressure, nice sweeping motions. And I'm going to paint the housing in that bronze for sure. But a good trick is to consider better priming practices. So what I've done is I've basically taken that black to gray. And gray has better stick than black. And this gray happens to have glitter in it, which will support anything I paint over it that also has glitter in it. So if I don't achieve maximum opacity, at least the glitter from this layer will show through the follow-up layer. Okay? It's a good strategy. Lethal Shadows Gaming. What's up, man? Lethal Shadows. I'm going to flip over to this side. We're going to use the tip of our brush. We're going to reach in and just drag lines back to our heart by changing the orientation of the model. Again, this is high opacity, minimum moisture paint. Just enough moisture to spread it out. If I see anything that looks a little out of whack, I'll kind of focus down on spreading it out. Like so. And so I'll just make sure that these little vents don't have anything pulling up in them. This is Monument Hobbies Pro Krill, dark silver. And painting silvers and stuff over black is really easy because you don't really have to get all the coverage. Okay? Now there's smaller stuff that I'm probably not going to use this big brush on. So I'm going to rinse this brush down. Lethal Shadows Gaming said I come highly recommended. That makes me happy to hear. Thank you. Alright, so there's littler things that we're going to paint with True Metallic, right? So I'll just grab my little 18-0 synthetic. We're going to use more of the tip of a brush here, more of a stippling motion here. Light brush pressure, sewing machine. Get this little nugget right there. And I'm gonna be just symmetrical. If I do it on that side, I'm gonna flip over, do it on this side. Sewing machine stroke. Don't have to get all the coverage again because it's black. So like anything you kind of miss will be fine. Okay. There is a ammo belt right here, I think. And we're gonna just focus on painting the like rectangles. The tip of our brush, again, let's mirror it on this side. Let's rotate. Let's use the tip of our brush, heart pull. Using the tip of your brush, it's easy to maintain control by pulling straight back to your heart. I didn't do it on the other side. It's high risk. Now there is a little frame right here that we want to think about. So again, let's find an angle that lets us drag straight lines back like this. And you want to be careful not to get this on the black if you can avoid it. So just be cognizant of that tip and what it's about to run into. Be a little stippling here. And don't overdo it because, again, it's black. So if you kind of just miss a little bit up in there, that black will conceal it. And we are painting by numbers in reference to not getting it on the black armor. But if you get it on this book, it doesn't matter. Because we haven't put any real paint on the book yet. So we've got little details popping right there, left and right. Looks like... So he's got bolter casing that we need to worry about at some point. And chains and shit, so... Best to come back to that stuff. I feel like it's just the wrong order. So now he's got stuff tucked in way under his body, right? Kind of hard to sub-assemble this model because of the way he fits on the bike, but you could have if you wanted to. But a lot of times I don't, just because I like to show the whole model off. So what I'm going to do is kind of some half-ass painting here that's black. I'm using dark silver, and I'm just going to kind of sketch in some silver where I can reach. That little doodad right there. I'm going to make sure to get the other end part of this exhaust pipe. I might even get the ring, the coupling here. Just some stipples and careful maneuvering of the brush. And again, the black is helping us with coverage here. Now, I'm not going to worry about too much in there. I'm going to let it just kind of ride for the most part. You know what I might even do? I might even just kind of just like stipple up against the border here. Like I'm doing a ghetto edge highlight. And I might even just kind of do some sewing machine strokes. Right? See, just some light stippling. Right over the black in there. Just like some chipping, but it's like way in there. So if you're like, oh, let me look between his legs. Oh, cool. There's some weathering in there. There's not. Same thing right here. There's like a little shelf right here, and we can kind of just stipple along that border. And like I said, by having it all black, that makes it real easy. Same thing on this side. You see there's that shelf right there, so we're going to just kind of use the dark silver to kind of edge highlight it, but real ghetto. And then we'll use the tip of our brush and do some stipples. And get a nice beat up look and finish. Here though, we'll try to paint this whole thing because we did it on the other side. And so I'm using my little brush just for safety reasons. I don't want to get this on anything around it. I may use a little bit more moisture than that to help spread it out. Now, these kickstands, or whatever he puts his feet on, I don't fucking know. Let's take a look at what we're actually seeing here. So it can't be black because that wouldn't look good. So let's just carefully hit that thing with that dark silver. You can kind of be ghetto right here, just kind of drag it across these. Like so. This side, now this one you can see that there's no foot on it because of his awesome posing. So let's rotate, look for that heart pull. Okay, now there's like some like diamond plate pattern on this side where he puts his foot. So I'll go back to the big brush for a second, keep it kind of on the dry side, like a half-ass dry brush, and we'll just kind of drag it across the top of that diamond plate. Something's bothering me here. Okay, but I have to deviate from the plan for 1 second and hunt down my X-Acto blade, or maybe my seam scraper, because what I have here is a little nub on this piece that never got cleaned, and I'm going to scrape all the paint off I just put on there to try to remove it. I'm using my Monument Hobby seam scraper. I'm just trying to knock down that sprue point right there, that little clip point. Because that is going to literally irritate me forever. Just being real patient here until I feel that it's knocked out. This is mostly just water here for cleanup. And I'll paint right over that bare plastic. So I got rid of that big nub, but there is a bit. It's still a little bit there, and it's a little softer, but I can live with that because in this capacity, all I'm going to do is incorporate it into the paint job. Like you see, like this indent right here, I'm just gonna make it a chip later with black paint. Caddick Painting says, I've been scraping for days, putting all my minis together from Curse City. Yep. Scraping sucks. Okay. Let's look at this stuff right here using our little brush. I'm going to use some stippling right here. Now these struts right here, I'm just going to carefully just kind of ghost in some metal. Like that, right over the black, and I'm not even like looking for full coverage there. Oh my god! And I leave. What the fuck am I looking at right there? Are those supposed to be there? I doubt it. Did I forget to get those things off too? Oh my god! I missed 2 things on this guy. All right, where's my actual X-Acto blade? I need a blade. That's going to keep me up at night. I won't be able to go to bed knowing that exists. So what I need to do is carefully not fuck up this model by... Oh no, is this... I don't think it's possible. Alright, seam scraping. Or do I just have to build it into the model? See that? I left 2 nubs right there. And I rather like jack it up a little bit right here than have those obvious nubs. Because I can paint chips and weathering just fine. But it's, how do you justify these sprue clips? You know, these points to contact. Just put a little moisture on them to see how much of that is dust and how much of it is not. So what happens when you build the model right before the stream on Tuesday? I need a Flash Master, Duff. What's a Flash Master? Is that some hobby tool I don't know about? I think I just about got it. I'm using the tip of my blade right here. It's awful. And it's about as good as I can get, so I'm going to have to conceal any damage in there with chipping techniques. So I'm going to just go into the hot and heavy coat of silver. Flexible tool, I can bend 90 degrees for that kind of shit. All right, I need to get in on that. I need it. Recoil. Say hi to Mom for me. Okay, so what we need. So what I have is a little black here. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is just kind of stipple some black into the wet paint a little bit right here. And I'm gonna lean into that distortion and create a little shadow right there. And I'm gonna spend a second just kind of fixing what we did over here. And I'm gonna take some of that basically metallic white, go under it, right there. So basically I just made battle damage there and painted it. Flash Master Hobby is the website. Thank you, Double D's Minis. Alright, let's move on. Here's our dark silver right here. There. All right, let's switch it up. Let's see what's going on his dash here. Kind of feel like we should paint this in the dark silver as well. Now, try not to paint the view screen, but if you do paint the view screen, it's fine. So, fuck it. I'll repaint it later. It's annoying me. Let's get this thing right here. Just to eliminate black on black on black. Just kind of picking out a couple of extra bonus things. Oh, there was a skull I was supposed to glue there. Huh. I was like, where is his handle? Where did I put his parts? Is that what this is? What the fuck did they glue there on this guy? It's not that. Is it that? Is it this thing? I missed that from the build. 1 second. 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys.
Can you feel me now?
May have to do an intermission in a few minutes to intercept a guest who was arriving earlier than expected. So I will keep you guys updated. If we have to go a little late, we'll go a little late to make sure we get all of our work done. And right now what I'm trying to do is glue on. So as we're painting this Primaris Chaplain, I'm discovering things I fucked up. Like things that I missed. Okay, let me make sure that my phone is on. Because obviously I missed a bunch of messages. And let me send out a message. So I may have an unexpected intermission. Apologies on that, guys. Recoil, I know, it's classic. It's classic me. I can't find my clippers, so we're going to go old school. I think this is the other handle. And I missed that on the sprue. I think this is like, yeah, like this, like a skull and rosary bead situation. And I'm just trying to get the little flash off of it. We've already made a few mistakes on this model. Try not to have another one. So let's see if I can just glue it on and paint right over it. Trying to use like the least amount of glue possible. And I think this is accurate. Yeah, so there's that. Or pride. Exhibit A of why Kenny doesn't like to assemble his own models. So we're going to ignore that for a second. I'll paint while it dries. Let's just jump ahead to the bronze. And let's paint it right over this dark silver. And you see you're going to get a nice luster here. Right over the casing. Try not to get it inside the channels if I can avoid it, but it may. It's a little wetter than I wanted it to be, so lost a little control. As you can see. There we go. I'm gonna open my door just in case I need to hear something real quick. Trying to time this situation. Let's paint this halo using the very tip of our little brush. Trying really hard not to get it on the armor. Combination of stippling and heart pulling and high opacity, low moisture paint. Good enough. Flip it. Just some bronze. You don't really need to paint the whole little spike. Just get most of it. Don't risk getting it on the armor. Try your best to get the best angle. Utilize the very tip of your brush. There we go. Now, he's got some chaos trim right here. We're going to use high opacity, low moisture, and try to use the heart pull as much as we can. There we go. Constantly trying to rotate the model to have those straight lines. Now, as far as the fin on this knee pad goes, I think it's like all of it. Just don't paint the actual knee pad. See if I can sneak in from this angle right here. And that's just straight bronze. It's a good color. Recoil. Space Marines covered in skulls remind me of a sketch from British comedian Mitchell and Webb. Oh yeah, I know the comedian. I know the sketch. Are we the baddies? Let's just try to get this trim lined out using the tip and any way you can pull straight back. Maybe some stipples. Nice base coat. Let's mirror it. Let's get this side. There we go. Rotate in this way. All right. Sneak in right here. Let's get the whole top of this knee pad. Got a little bit too deep there. Got to clean up the black a little bit on that. I think he's got like a knife or belt right here, and I think that's the tip of the belt. He's got trim on his gauntlets, same deal, tip of the brush. Rotate, use the heart pull strategy. Trim doesn't have to be that hard if you use high opacity. Low moisture. You think about the heart pull. It's all about the angle of approach. Don't let the bristles fold over on themselves. Take a second to look for the best access point. Sometimes you can't heart pull and you just got to kind of stipple it. And you typically are going to have no issues with trim. There we go. Same deal. Shout out to Ultra Mega Helmet. All right, what was I working on here? Bronzes. All right, let's run back to it, guys. Let's get some of this Monument Hobbies bronze. And let's see if we can just kind of cut in and get all of this trim done real quick. High opacity, low moisture. Recoil, my dude. He's got Death Star, guys. Gotta get some strong man left for Recoil in chat. Cool Moms Club, unite. Recoil, what I'm trying to do is just stick the tip of my brush in there as far as I can and just kind of stipple in along that trim. I don't want to get it in the black field if I can avoid it. Rotate, look for that heart pull. Like so. Some true metallic action. Recoil, exclamation point hyphen for my dude right there. That's right, it's my soundbite. And we're just checking every angle. Make sure we get all that trim. The Gentleman 85, my dude. Let's do a quick side quest. Just real quick. The Gentleman coming in with a, Recoil. That was a 5x multiplier, 115 bonus Yo dogs for my dude Recoil. And the Gentleman with a 2x, 46 bonus Yo DZ multiplier. Now, Gentleman and Recoil, I'm going to do a quick side quest. And what I'm going to do is just grab dark blue, bold power red, real quick. And I'm going to just try to paint that shoulder pad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just paint it real quick before I do the trim. Because I don't want to have to like paint by numbers more than I have to. So I'm going to just try to paint the field red. And so I'm using my cool shadow trick. So we're using a dark blue. Like that. And I'm just going to dip right into the bold power red and just pick some of that up while it's still wet. And just kind of bring it in there like a quick little wet blend. And what's going to do is it's going to, you know, make a purple, right? Blue and red. And I'm trying to leave a little bit of blue behind. In the shadows. While we introduce this reddening of the blue. Like that. I'm gonna rinse this brush. Switch brushes. Warg, my dude. Warg, watch this. Warg. Dollary dues in the house. Warg, I'm going to stipple some red right in here with my little brush. Just going to get on things. This is why I'm doing it now. Going to get some strong man love in the chat for Warg. I'm dropping some love on the chat. Was that supposed to be a beast mode multiplier? It's a strange number. Was it like a conversion breakdown? Okay, we're going to let that dry for a minute so we have a good solid base coat there. I'll come back to it. I have a little black down here, so I'm just going to try to paint this the best I can with coal black, which might not work. I'm going to take a little dark neutral gray primer, which is a heavier body acrylic. Try to brush it right on. So this is that Monument Hobbies primer. So this, remember, this was just straight plastic, so I need to get something on it so paint will stick to it. Best I can do right now. Warg says, "Ha, damn, didn't come through." Okay, so it was Australian. So what was it, a 3x multiplier? Probably a 3x multiplier, right? 69 bonus dogs for Warg. Since I've got this red blue real quick, let me just sneak in here because I'm waiting for things to dry. Why is my dog barking again? Let's get that rail. Right there. Thank you so much, Warg, the gentleman, Requel, Frozen Hobbit. Warg, we got you, brother. Exclamation point 666 every Friday. There's a mini game, homie. Any excuse to paint little panels a different color, I'll take them. Be careful. So that's just like the blue and the red mixed. And I'm just waiting for things to dry before we go back to metallics. Lethal Shadow Gaming. Let's get some love right there. Thank you so much, homie. Now, where's my stupid picture of my stupid chaplain? Where's my little... There it is. What is... It's the book. I think we can do... Okay, since I've got this... Since I'm messing with red, let's just take a quick opportunity while we're letting certain metallics dry. Let's get this red and this blue mixed together. Maybe a touch of black. Some blue, red, black. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this book, but I want to get it all cut in before I worry about like all these chains and shit, so I don't have to, you know, kill myself. I'm trying to paint it in an order that would be obnoxious. Using the tip of our brush here, mostly just stippling, but a little heart pull rotations, you know, trying to find the safest way to touch it with paint. Get that red locked in right there, and I'll use the little brush to do the bottom part, but also the bolter casings. So let's just carefully sneak in here and try not to have to repaint too much of our black. I know that's a lot of light, but I can't even see. Oh my god, what did I do? God, I'm such a hobo. That was some hobo shit right there. It's okay to get this on the actual gun barrel, but not okay to get it on the body of the bike. So we're just laying that base down now. Since I have it, let's just put the same color on these purity seals for now. Right there. Okay, let's take a little water and red. Some of this. Paper towel. Lethal Shadows. Thank you, thank you. We're going to take the moisture off the brush. So what we have is just low opacity paint. And we're just going to glaze a little filter of that in. You see, this is what we're working with right here. Is that something like just this thin? A little bit more red. Lots of water, low opacity. Touch the paper towel, get that moisture off, so what's left is low opacity paint. And what we're doing is just throwing like a little red filter over top here. Just a little bit at a time. Okay, and we built it off of this blue for that cool shadow. Okay, let it dry. It's important when you're doing that. So when you take the excess moisture off, you know, it should be very fast to dry, essentially. So I'm going to take more red. just slowly red it up. Like so. Let that set up for a second. I'm going to switch back to my little brush. We're going to go back to this black, blue, red pile. And let's get the bottom of the book. This may be a mistake, actually. Because of all the pages and shit we still got to paint. I don't know what's going on with this bookmark. Let's take some more red, and we can kind of just paint these little guys real quick with it. See, we base coated this stuff. And I'm just going to come in with a much more opaque red. Because of how little that stuff is. We base coated it with blue mixed with red, so the same red but with dark blue added, so it's a purple. Right there. Back up to the shoulder pad. So now we don't really have to do much more blending on it if we don't want to. So we'll just take some red and our edge highlight brush. It's a little bit of the purple still kind of in it, but what I can do is just draw a nice line here. And here. Kind of just go back in time a step. Kind of just subtract from that line and just kind of create a nice blur. Little of red there where I didn't want to. Shit happens though. I'll go back in time real quick. So I'm just making small little blurs like that. Red again. Here. Go back in time. A little bit of water. Maybe a little bit more blue. In the shadow right there. Rinse it. A little more red. So I just want that nice cool ass blue built-in kind of effect that we sometimes utilize here on the channel. Nice dramatic kind of lacquered red. Instead of like just, you know, pure ass, just can't stare at this, staring at the sun red. Now, what you want to do is get some of that blue and red again, semi-opaque and a little wet. And you want to pin wash right up against the trim. So there's a nice, maybe a little black even. So there's a nice border right there between the trim and the actual fields. And that's going to look good once we paint that bronze back in. Take a little pure bull pyro. Using the tip of our brush, high opacity, low moisture. Heart pull. Let's take a little, some white. Yeah. Take a little white. And let's introduce a little white to the red. Using the tip of our brush and the heart pull strategy. Right there. Keeping that high opacity, low moisture. Right there. Maybe a touch more white. Right there. Turn the light down a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to use some of this white red right here. We're going to do a tracer technique. Right there. Right there. Using the side of our brush. Try to get that hardcore highlight going. High opacity, low moisture. And anywhere it got a little out of control, just go back in time to the red. Just kind of fix it. Not bad. Up here on the shoulder pad, what we're going to do is rinse the brush. Take the red, put lots of water in it. Okay. And we're going to just kind of glaze that red back over our white highlights. Like so. All right. Little, like I said, little side quest. So now let's, since I have white, let's just take white and black. Be a little blue. And let's just paint these, the feathers on the wing here. High opacity, low moisture. Like so. All right. Let's jump in, grab more white. Tight. Let's take the blue and a little white to the blue. Like the blood drop blue. For now. So now we can see the wing and everything. Let's finally go back to our bronze. We were on that long side quest. All because I knew that this is a better order of operations. Rather than paint the trim first and then carefully try to do everything we just did, this is the smart way to do it. Because if you do the trim first, then you're not allowed to get paint on the trim. And by using high opacity, low moisture, tip of the brush, and the hard pull strategy, probably not going to get the bronze on the shoulder pad. But if you do, a little pin wash will fix it. Make sure you get all the angles. And so a little did get on there, on that little seam, right? So what we do is just go back to the blue and black that we were using. A little red to tie it in. Semi-opaque and a little wet. You just put that right where the trim meets the shoulder pad and reinforce your little pin wash line. And then you're fine. Now, let's make sure we got trim. We got some stuff on his chest I want to do at the end. Let's go back to the book, okay? What we want is that book to look cool, but still kind of dark. So to take some of that red, just add a little bit more red to the mix. Just kind of rough it right in over it. Like so. And now what I'll probably do is take some black and some of that red. Dog's barking again. And what we're doing is semi-opaque, a little wet. And we're just trying to put darker lines inside the recesses of this book. You see it like manually. By keeping it a little wet, it'll just kind of flow into those gutters. And you can just kind of direct it into those spaces, and even if you fuck up a little bit, it'll be okay because we've lowered the opacity a little bit. So we don't want it to do too much to this book to make it look good. Just put in some lines, create those borders and those frames. because we want to paint the chains after we've done the book. So now what we'll do is we'll go back to the book, kind of link the red together as a highlight, and we're going to be trying to do maybe like the lower frame here with a heart pull, like the bottom shelf of this border. Maybe like right here on this thing too. Let's see if you can even see that. See, building a subtle frame. That's a tracer technique right there. We're using the flat of our brush. That's the easy mode right there. Want to use a little bit of that down here too. Now up here, the spine, heart pull, you want to do those tight painted red on something that I shouldn't have. Let's put a little bit here and separate the spine from the book. Okay, we're just using more and more red. High opacity, low moisture. Tip of the brush. Like so. See it? It's like now it's like a more of like a red leather situation. Yeah, it's gonna be a bad day, Recoil, when a guy chains a book to his bike. Now, let's consider the parchment inside. So, I'm gonna grab a little ochre. I like ochre. So I'm going to take ochre, black, and white. Okay, so basically it's like a warm gray right now. A little bit more white. We're going to use that color. We're going to try to drag this inside the book here. Hit those pages. Using the heart pull, doing our best. Sometimes you got to break the rules. Get those pages best you can. This one is tricky. So you want to make sure you get that done sooner rather than later. Now, like I said, there's like a bookmark in here. We'll just go ahead and paint the bookmark red as well. Now let's go back to bronze real quick. Shout out to Casca Boom. Thank you for the follow. High opacity, low moisture. Tip of the brush using the stippling technique for the most part here. Now we're catching these little book frames. Spine protectors. I don't fucking know what these are. Book armor. We'll paint the lock. We'll paint the bookmark thing. Rinse it, rinse it, rinse it. Let's run back to some dark silver, guys. Right there. See, now we're finally acknowledging these chains. Like I said, since we sprayed everything black, we're just kind of kissing these chains. Not even really worried about full coverage. High opacity, low moisture, just dragging it along the chain. Dark silver. Where's my dog keep barking? What are they doing up there? I'm gonna text my lady. Let me grab a little bronze, hit the sidewall of this chain, this lock. I think there's a strap in here. I'm trying to figure out what's inside the book. I think oh, that's the bookmark. Look, y'all. I see now. This is the bookmark tab. That's detailed. And that's what is flipping out on this side right here. All right, so whew. It's not really that hard. It's just it's a lot of fun details, honestly. I feel like we're probably supposed to paint this thing right here. We'll go with silver, dark silver. Okay. Let's take some silver to the wheel here, just carefully. Some right here. Rotate. Here. Using the heart pull, high opacity, low moisture. That's a tracer technique right there. It's kind of like using a stipple as well. Kind Kind of combining all the strategies. Cut in right there. All right. Okay, let's one more thing. Let's get another. I want to do some bone work on this guy, but I want to lock in all this dumb shit first. So let's get these bolters real quick. Because the sooner we get like kind of all this stuff based in, the more detailing we can do later. So we're going to take some straight up Bold Pyro Red. And just kind of paint over the base coat we already deployed. Because we put a blue-red base coat there, so it's got a purple there already. So now I'm just trying to put in the actual red over it, hoping that that base coat will, you know, cover any lack of coverage from this step. It's a slightly wet mix, semi-opaque. I'm looking for easy spread, not necessarily the best coverage or stick or opacity, but that's where the base coat comprised of this exact same red and blue should help as it settles down. And I'm not like necessarily on purpose avoiding painting the barrel of the gun. It's more of a habit. You don't have to avoid it at all. Shout out to Ready to Roll. What up, man? Ready to roll in the house. It is Friday, homie. Okay, I should be able to reinforce this red now. In a couple spots. Kind of hard to get those bolters though, I'm not gonna lie. Since I'm messing with this red, let me just take an opportunity to redify our reds here. Using those same strategies. So we made sure that the book was like a burnt out leathery red, right? Got this like really dark blue buildup in the shoulder pad here. So it's just popping into red, very, you know, like mysterious. You know, I don't want that like, pow, it's just straight red. My man's a chaplain. Casket Boom says, it says, how's the painting going? So far, so good, brother. Demeki says, damn, I was hoping for a red back with flames on the sides. Well, I guess it's not too late to pivot. Again, let's just pull out the big brush. Let's get a couple things locked in because you guys said we're going to do true metallics today. So let's just get this done real quick. This is classically this is a classic, you know, kind of gold accent on chaplains right here. This fucking beatdown stick they use. that locked in. Make sure I'm gonna just spill a little bit more light on here so you can see easier. But he is very dark. His black is very dark. But more light. That's just some bronze. He does have a halo. Classically gold on Chaplains. We're using just Monument Hobbies bronze for our base coat on all the gold stuff. Basically metallic brown. High opacity. Trying to get that one and done coverage. Now there's some. I think there's like I think he's got like a pool cue, I think he rolls with his own fucking pool cue to places. Like he's that cool. Demeki, you heard that Chaplin's beat stick size directly correlates to their dick size? Yeah, I've heard that too. So let's use this the saturated gray we made earlier. This is just ochre, black, and white. Maybe a little bit more black than that. So this is like essentially a warm gray. So far, everything on this model, you know, that's black is not warm black. It's black or cool black. So we're just flipping the script right there. And I'll get cute and I'll take some ochre and white. Just kind of blend in a quick shine line right here while it's still wet using the heart pull strategy. Let it just dry and be whatever it's going to be. Let's take a little bronze. Get the end cap. High opacity, low moisture. A little stippling right there. Rotate. Just be careful. There's little belt buckles right here. Just barely trying to touch those things. And what happens on those is you end up getting it kind of in the core where you don't want it a little bit. So just go back to the black. Just kind of stipple the black inside there to kind of erase. Get that knocked out. Now there's like a sissy bar back here. Dark silver. Who that? Who that? You can't see it. Chaos Kev and Love Minis. I'm gonna get some strong man love in the chat for Chaos Kev, strong woman love in the chat for Love Minis, exclamation point hyphy. 230 bonus Yodox for Chaos Kev, 69 bonus Yodox for Love Minis. And a bot will probably shit on one of these two legends, so we will discover whom the bot shall be shitting upon. Let me lock into the obesity cradle. It shits on Chaos Kev. Which means Chaos Kev needs 1,330 Yo-Dogs. See, I hate when there's so much light on it like this because it looks like it's gray. But it's not. So, love minis, Chaos Kev, 2 legends. Chaos Kev says, keep cranking out those BAs. Can't wait to see the whole army. Me neither. And Love Mini says, just paint. Don't worry about it. You can fix it. I can. I can. Love Minis, I think I fucked up again, though. I think I fucked up again. I want to say that I think a skull is supposed to hang off of that thing. Because I think I noticed that there was one last skull on the sprue, and I was like, oh, that's a base skull, right? Extra part. And now I see this, like, random hook. So you're not supposed to have extra parts, apparently. Look at this thing. So I have a suspicion that this is supposed to somehow connect to that. How the fuck is that supposed to work? Let me look at the instructions. Cascade, you streaming tomorrow? Yes, I'm streaming tomorrow. Okay, I'm looking at it right here. So it looks like it lays down on the bike. Oh my god, this thing is so dumb. Why does he gotta have a fucking bike skull like this? Like, what's the point of this? He's got this dumb, like, just. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Don't fall! I already put glue on you, motherfucker. I think I'm fucking it up bad. Hold on. Okay. Fucked it up a little bit, but I can come back from that. Got a little super glue in a spot I didn't want it to go. Because this thing doesn't work. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It'll ride. It'll ride. Let it dry, and then we'll prime it. Move on. I panicked a little bit. It's fine. Let's take some dark silver. Dredge for life. I couldn't skip it because the there's like a spot there that doesn't make sense unless there's a skull glued to it. So it was gonna keep me up at night. I had to paint it. So I'm just throwing some dark silver back down. In a couple of spots that need it. All right. Now I get, what's going on with this? So it looks like this thing is like straight up purple. So let's grab some blue and red and just make a purple real quick. Maybe a little bit more red and a touch of white. Like that. Alright. Base coat of that shit. Leather, I'm just gonna leave shit black unless they tell me otherwise. You know, I should get some brown. I've been whispering to myself like I should have some brown on this palette. Recoil, you left off Harry. He never goes into battle without his best mate Harry's skull. Oh god. That's so dark but funny as hell. Let's get a little of this mahogany. Let's paint this thing straight up mahogany. Like so. I'm going to take some of that mahogany into this pistol holster. Right there. Now, look at all these purity seals. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the brown. We're going to take some of this ochre. We're going to get some... We need more white. Always a good idea to have some white. Good. I'm going to put some black in there, so I'm basically graying it up. And find a nice like yellowy brown to start with, to get kind of built off of. So it just made like a nice, kind of like a nice creamy ivory color. I'm going to lay it down hot and heavy real quick. Get a quick base coat. And on a model like this, once you do all this like dope edge highlight and stuff, you can just kind of get away with just doing nice clean details and clean washes. And be very satisfied with the results. Especially if you just use some true metallics like we have. You can definitely cut some corners. And half of it is like, as long as the model is clean and everything is detailed, you'd be shocked how little you actually have to do as long as you just follow coloring book rules. Don't leave out details. Try to reach in here and get the inside flat. Okay, press that down. Now, let me rinse my brush. Just gotta get the same workup going, right? Some white, black, some of this. Lightbringer, what's up, man? Now check it out. Carefully paint the skull with that same color. We've decided that this guy's, you know, skulls are going to be painted like skulls. Use a little white while it's still wet. And you can kind of just stipple the white in, kind of center mass right here, and let it blend right in. Let that chillax. There is indeed a skull. Rico, remember saying about Grey Knights you painted, you have to worry and wonder about a guy who has to prove how pure he is? Yes, true. That sounds like a sketchy ass dude to me. Okay, here's this skull. Handlebar skull. Shout out to JBZ in chat. That's my dude right there. A little white, brushed right in. Rotate. Handlebar skull using that browner mix first. Basically a really, really warm gray. Pluck some pure white out. Just drag the white in real quick while it's still wet. Free blending. Karasu the Feldrake. Kapla. What's up, man? You base whip, yes. You did. Okay, let's see if we can get this face, though. This is something I'm really excited about. So, black. When I really desaturate it, I want it to be a lot grayer. You'll see. And right now I'm just trying to cover it. Gonna get where it's gonna get. I'm trying to mitigate it though. Right there. And I'm gonna use this same color here. I may be using a brush that's too big for this. So I'm gonna switch it out. Go downgrade. While I'm thinking about it, let me just pluck in back here, make sure we've got max coverage. But also on these ribs, I don't want to be over painting. So we're taking some liberty here. They typically seem to be painting these black and edge highlighting them. But they're like obviously rib cage. So I want my chaplain to have like the full motif, you know? You see I'm using a very grayed out version of bone color where we basically took black and white to really establish a desaturation to these ochres and white and kind of like ivories that we made. It's really just black, white, maybe some brown snuck in, and ochre. And I love it. I love the color of it. God damn, get off of here. Using the tip of my brush, guys. If I can leave that black intact and that separates the ribs, that's what I'm trying for here. That's why I switched to the small brush. I'm concerned I don't want to get it inside those tracks. I think I've pretty much busted that brush. Let me switch to this other brush. Just trying to look. I'm looking at angles so I can kind of sneak in under his armpit and kind of finish painting down here. All right, 18 minutes left, guys, in the show. JBZ just tuned in. Should throw some love out there. Sorry, the Feldrake. Full power Grayskull Deathwalker. That is what has happened. You were right. Now, the centerpiece on his chest seems like bronze is the natural progression for it. But let's see if we can do a little bit more on this skull. So we've got this base coat again. Like I said, it's fun because it's really just an exercise in making gray and adding some ochre to it. Okay. Maybe a touch of brown in there. So what we want to do is go back into this face. See if we can get a highlight going here. We're using more moisture, semi-opaque heart pools right now. And we're going to take some moisture and go back a step to something a little darker with maybe a little bit more ochre and black in it. We're going to try to kind of unite these borders. Go back up to the brighter. Kind of just walk in there. Going to use moisture. Try to just kind of stipple in and split the difference between the dark and the bright line we're building. And just get a nice little fuzz going. Got some easier stuff down here. Down here. Shout out to Brick Wall Studios. What's up, man? Just trying to sneak in and just highlight some things, Brick Wall. Kind of just gonna fake some stuff back here. Just try to blend some of these elements together. So it's kind of just like a second layer. And what you want to do is just kind of carefully and slowly just build up off of that. Maybe a little bit less moisture. So that's semi-opaque. I dried it off a little bit, and what I'm doing is just bringing in a slow and steady highlight using the heart pull. Right there. I'm going to take some of the mid-tone. Walk it in as well. We don't want to have to battle such a dark tide line. So I'm going to just kind of encourage it with the mid-tone between the two. Just help it soften. It's got teeth down here. I want to kind of just stipple these. Maybe just put an extreme highlight right here with some white. Kind of tricky to sneak in there and get it, but pretty sick, I think. I like the coloration that we're using, and we can go back and touch it up later. But let's get these ribs right here because we only have about 12 minutes left. So let's try a really simple approach here. Just gonna carve in the heart pull here. There we go. Maybe a little bit more white. So what we're trying to do is just get that ledge. And it's just this color we mixed, right? Black, white, ochre. And we're just adding kind of like more white as we move around, slowly but surely. I think it's a pretty intriguing bone workup when you keep it that gray. Recoil, if the chaplain cracks the skull open in the woods and there's no one around to hear it, does it still make a sound? No, it never happened. You never existed. This side is the trickier side. Leaving that torso off would have been convenient as hell. Pretty much every time I paint a model here on stream, I say something like that. And if you guys noticed, all my land speeders I just painted, I left all those torsos off. I think it's fun to have the whole model come into existence together, like in a visible way, in a visual way on stream, versus just have parts laid out and painting them up, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. You're painting just a shape of plastic, you know. Because now we get to kind of witness how cool it looks that he's got that skeleton vibe. Sneak in right here. Those little highlights going, getting whiter and whiter. Now there's some nuts on there that we should pin wash. Let's see if I can just kind of go back, take some of the brown and black and kind of get a respectful nut wash color. There's some bolts right here. Always wash your nuts, guys. So now you should be able to see those nuts a little bit easier. Take some pure white. Just touch it. There we go. Look how sharp he's looking. Good choice, guys. Chaplain should have that bone chest. That shit looks awesome. Let's run it back to bronze. See if I can sneak in here and paint this thing. Sternum. Be careful. High opacity, low moisture, guys. Don't fuck it up. And let's do his mohawk too. Actually, I like the mohawk black. I think the black mohawk is sick. We should keep the mohawk black. Beat Dominator, what up? That guy's an old schooler. I'm gonna blackify the mohawk just a little bit. Try to maybe put a little pin wash in there. Yeah, definitely black mohawk. We're using watered down black right now. I'm just going to kind of tighten things up. I think this is black. What is this? It's gray? Oh my god, that's the primer. It's hilarious. That's just straight up gray. So we're reestablishing the armor parts of his helmet right now. And his pipes and stuff. There we go. The dude is looking tight. Throw a little more light down here. 4 minutes left, guys. If you want to get into the Final Four today and you want some bonus swag and you want to get into the Final Four for the end of the month, 4 minutes to jump in. Kyrie says, when do you decide when it's high opacity, low moisture versus not? I have a definitions list. It's in my syllabus, and I think there might be a link on Patreon in my orientation post. But I essentially have a definitions list, like edge highlights, for the most part. Traditionally, they're going to be high opacity, low moisture. Right? When I'm doing anything that can be considered a wash or a pin wash, semi-opaque and kind of wet. When I do anything that can be considered a glaze technique, it's going to be low opacity, also low moisture. Wet blending is high opacity and high moisture. And so if you kind of start understanding your definitions and where to deploy them, you start to realize what element you can break, what part of the rule you can break, and how to combine them with each other. It's so something I teach in my curriculum, and if you stick it out here long enough with me on my free-to-play model, which is this, you will start to, just get it through osmosis. Warg, 3x multiplier, 69 bonus, yo dogs. Just enjoy your weekend, Kenny. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Can I get some hyphy in the chat for Warg? Thanks, man. And you can just clip what I just said, Kyrie. You can just clip that. And you don't have to pay me on Patreon for that information at all. I don't conceal information between my paywall, my free-to-play elements, and all that stuff. All my information is out there. You can grind it out, ask me questions here, write things down, do a bunch of independent studies. You can grind out level 99 here. Just, or you can pay to win. And take my private lessons. Kyrie, thank you, man. Appreciate it. We got about a minute and a half left, guys. About 2 minutes, actually. I think we've got mostly everything base coated with a few exceptions. Handlebars should be kind of in that... let's get some brown, red, white going here. Maybe a touch of the blue. More brown, more red. This is also, I think, closer to the color that we should be working up here. So I'm just going to kind of like ghetto dry brush. Right here. And I may use like a wash later on that and that hex pattern it has, or that cross hatching, just to get inside all those recesses. Paint to win. Love minis. 3x multiplier. 69 bonus dogs. You can't see her. You can't see her, guys. Exclamation point beast mod in chat. We're in overtime. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Love minis. Here's some of that white. Let me just steal what little this kind of ochre gray I've got off the table real quick. I'm just gonna kind of drag it over the rough features of this parchment and kind of get a ghetto highlight scheme going there. Because there's plenty of texture. Overtime official.
It's time to get swifty. gotta get swifty. Oh yeah. Take off your pants and your panties. Shit on the floor.
Shout out to Love Minis with a minute 19 on overtime, guys, for the Final Four. Top D Grand Prix. Thank you so much. Here's a little bit more white. Just going to drag some of that in. And these are, with how much texture's on these types of purity seals, these are great candidates for a very light wash technique later. So I'm just going to like engineer them to be a little brighter. Pre any kind of wash I do on them. 45 seconds left. Now with the Blood Angel stuff, a lot of times their purity seals are a little on the purple side. It's 30 seconds left, guys, if you want to get in on this. Just kind of purpling up these purity seals. Thank you for your support, guys. Can't do it without you. Five seconds, it looks like. JBZ? Yeah, I'll check. I mean, you probably, if you don't think you did, then you didn't. So, Love Minis, can you give JBZ 100 Yodogs for a sub? Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Real quick, let's take that gray primer I have. And let's just prime this skull right here that we had a glue on. That's the Monument Hobbies primer. Just dark gray. We actually had to glue two things on this guy that I forgot to glue on this guy during the course of today's episode. So here's where we are on the Primaris Chaplain workup. We had to spend a substantial amount of time blocking in metal, fixing mistakes, blocking in reds, getting some of that skull stuff worked out. So we've got like most of it down now. We got the Blood Angel shoulder pad red. We've got some edge highlighting still to do back here, but what we got to do now is just kind of intensify what we have laid down here. This guy's a great candidate for some clean execution of some wash technique, some clean edge highlights. We're going to push some of this bronze into the gold category. He's got some leather straps and shit we still got to work on, so we're just going to go through and intensify, sharpen the image until we're satisfied, right? Until we're satisfied. So we have a great, clean, crisp black bike. Great edge highlights. And that's the kind of the frame of this model. And we can cut corners with some wash strategies and stuff in other places, but we want to pay attention to all the details. I'm trying to get it just lit perfectly so you can see how dark the black actually is. Because I didn't let it get gray. So feeling pretty good about this. Loving the I love this decision we made to keep the chaplain like a skeleton